Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the 5th edition of TSDSI Tech Deep Conference, which is TSDSI's annual flagship conference. We are in our 5th year now, and although you see very few people in the room, we have a good participation online on the tool. Thank you very much for joining us in person. We have the honor of having Mr. K. Rajaraman, Honorable Secretary Telecom, with us, who will inaugurate this conference. May I invite Mr. Rajaraman to please come onto the dais. Mr. Rajaraman, currently serving as Secretary Telecom, is a Senior Administrative Service Officer of Tamil Nadu cadre. He's a BTech in Electronics and Communication and a first-class MBA and Master of Economics. Starting his career as a design engineer at BHEL, Trichy, during his rich and varied experience as an IS officer, he has held various administrative positions in the areas of investment promotion, foreign direct investment, public sector undertakings, industrial infrastructure, VAT administrations, etc. He was MD of the Chennai Metro Railways for nearly 4 years during its early construction phase, Commissioner for Commercial Taxes in Government of Tamil Nadu, and Joint Secretary Expenditure in Government of India in the recent past. He's also served as Additional Secretary, Investment, IER, and Administration in the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance. We're delighted to have you, sir, with us. I now invite Mr. Kishore Babu, Deputy Director General, Standards Research and Innovation, to the dais. Mr. Kishore Babu has 28 plus years of experience in diverse leadership positions in information and communication technologies domain. He is currently responsible for multilateral cooperation from the Department of Telecommunications with international and regional organizations. Kishore Babuji has made important contributions at ITU, APT, and other platforms for the ITU, WTDC, ITSO Assembly Party meetings, ITU, WCIT, WSIS, and APT meetings. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I now invite Suresh Chitturi, currently serving as a Vice Chair TSDSI, to the dais. Suresh is currently serving as the Senior Director and Head of Technology Standards at Samsung Research, Bangalore. He's been associated with TSDSI, I think, from day one. Thank you very much, Suresh, for your contributions. Suresh has over 20 plus years experience in the mobile technology industry and is responsible for research and standardization of emerging wireless and IoT technologies in global and regional standardization bodies such as 3GPP, ITU, FIRs, and TSDSI. He's also served as the 3GPP SA6 working group chair from 2018 to 2022 and vice chair from 2015 to 2018. Suresh has contributed actively towards the development of technology and standard strategy in various global standards organizations like 3GPP, W3C, JCP, OMA, and GSMA. Thank you, Suresh, for joining us. And I now invite Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, currently serving as the Executive Director, CDOT, to the dais. Dr. Upadhyay has been on a governing council and been a major force driving the outreach committee activities. He doesn't need any introduction. Any further introduction, sorry. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And before we start with the proceedings, I would request that we start with the lamp lighting ceremony, for which I would also invite Dr. Kumar Sivarajan, Founder Chair of TSDSI, and Ms. Pamela Kumar, Director General TSDSI, to also join us for the lamp lighting ceremony.
No, we'll share. We'll share.
We are doing together. There's not a real cooperation. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am and sirs. With that, we start with the formal proceedings of the conference. May I remind you that this fifth edition of the conference is being held in a hybrid mode. We are finally at TSTSI starting to get back to the normal in-person activities, and we're delighted to have the audience with us. Because people have gotten used to joining meetings and conferences online, I think many of us are still joining the conference online. But hopefully, we will see you in person in ongoing workshops and conferences in future. I now invite Mr. Suresh Chitturi to please make the welcome and opening remarks. Over to you, Suresh.
Thank you, Bindu. As Bindu said, it's wonderful to be back face to face. We missed these gatherings for the last, I don't know, almost 3 years. And typically, you might know standardization involves a lot of discussions offline and in person, and we hope this will continue going forward. So on behalf of TSDSI or TSDSI Chair, the Governing Council of TSDSI, Director General and former chairs and the entire organization committee, like to welcome everyone online and offline to this event of 5th edition of TSDSI Tech Deep Dive Conference. Specifically to the dignitaries who are here on the stage, Shri K. Rajaraman, Chairman DCC and Secretary Telecom, and Shri Kishore Babuji, DDG SRI, and Dr. Upadhyaya from CDOT. So TTDD has established itself as a leading tech conference over the years, and it's become our flagship annual event every year at TSDSI. It is a knowledge sharing platform where leading researchers from the industry and academia deliberate and discuss emerging trends and technologies. The event has been carefully crafted to have the best of the best topics, and thanks once again to the steering committee, program committee, and also the executive committee in making these efforts in run up to this event. Now, TSDSI, as we all know, is the India's telecom STO, and there are three key objectives of TSDSI. Number one is to develop, standardize, and promote specific requirements and technologies in the Indian context. Number two is to take these requirements and technologies to global standards bodies, and also create a platform for developing countries to come on board into standardization process and participate in global standards. Now, TSDSI is also an organizational partner of global initiatives such as 3GPP and ITU and 1M2M. We are one of the few organizational partners, just to mention, there are a total of 7 organizational partners for 3GPP and 1M2M, and we are one of them. We're also a sector member for ITU, and we have also established MOUs with some of the leading global standards bodies such as IEEE and ATSC. In other words, we have created a very strong platform enabling technologists from India to contribute to global standards with all these arrangements. Now, TSDSI over the years has grown its membership quite well. We stand at around 100 members in TSDSI, and with a large IM memberships, 55 individual memberships in 3GPP. We have also transposed a number of specifications over multiple releases in 3GPP and 1M2M, which went on to become national standards through TEC. We also publish from time to time several technical reports for the benefit of the industry. Now, TSDSI has also made a very high impact in terms of the introduction of LMLC, which is large, low mobility, large cell scenario, and related contributions to 3GPP. Now, with 5G deployments started to happen, as you might know, and some of the recent events such as setting up of the 6G TIG and the impact of technology or ICT technologies on these both the economic and social side of things, we believe there's a lot more to do. So TSDSI is relatively a young organization. However, we believe that we have a great responsibility and a lot more to achieve in the years to come. And with your support and interest, we are very confident that TSDSI will become a leading and world-class STO. So with that, I would like to conclude my speech, and once again, welcome to this event, and hope you enjoy this rest of the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suresh. I now invite Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay to please give us an overview of the conference.
Respected Secretary Shri K. Rajaman ji, Suresh Chituri ji, Kishore Babu ji, dignitaries of the dais, participants from online, ladies and gentlemen. This TTDD is TSDSI Technical Deep Dive Conference. And as has been told earlier, this is the 5th edition of this particular conference. This conference brings together technocrats, researchers, and standard experts from around the world to discuss topics related to global standardization activities and emerging and futuristic technology trends. Previous editions of the conference has been widely acclaimed for its choice for the topics we took up in those editions, as well as the extensive deliberations and high quality deliberation that took place during those 4 editions, as we had speakers from around the world. The goal of this particular TTDD is to showcase the work of TSDSI, global SDOs and forums, research initiatives, industry and policy trends, and innovations that have the potential for standardization activities, as well as this particular platform gives a platform for exchange of ideas among experts and identify opportunities for downstream collaboration. Next slide. ICT is recognized as a cross-cutting enabler for 3 pillars of sustainable development: economic development, social inclusion, and the environmental protection. And at the same time, digital technologies are also evolving rapidly with AI, ML, haptics, sensing, AR, VR, XR, quantum, and these technologies are opening newer frontiers. Standards have always played a key role in promoting access to cost-effective technologies across markets, and that's an important requirement for sustainable development. There is now a need to adopt agile standards, development processes in the ICT sector, and at the same time ensure that sustainable development goals remain at the core. The theme of this TSDSI Tech Deep Dive 2022 conference is Standards for Sustainable Development. Next slide. During the conference into 2022 program, we will have discussions on select topics around 6G, applications, and horizontals. And there will be around 9 technical sessions from 8th to 10th November, apart from the sessions which will be held today. The topics for this particular TTDD has been selected from among TSDSI standardization roadmap, current and technical activities, pre-standardization, and research work within TSDSI and outside India. As part of the inauguration session today, after this, we will have a series of panel discussions. There are 4 panel discussions. The one leading the 6G standards to the sustainable future, integrating regional use cases and innovation in global standards, harmonizing of standards, lessons from 5G, 5GI, and way ahead, role of standards in achieving sustainable development goals. I'm happy to report that the conference sessions will have 97 plus speakers from around the world, and we are grateful for the overwhelming support from TSDSI partners as well as TSDSI affiliates who have contributed experts for the conference at a very, very short notice. And notably, I would like to mention DOT, BIS, COAI, BIF, CCISI, SIA India, ITU, 3GPP, 1M2M, ATSC, IEEE CCSA, ETSI, TIA, TTA, TTC, GCF, ORAN Alliance, 5G Brazil, MTSFB, European Commission, Dubai Utilities, and many more whose name I am not able to take here, but are thanks to these partners and affiliates who have helped us. The technical session details are given here. We have on technical sessions 8th, 9th, and 10th, apart from the panel discussions which will happen today. On 8th number, we are covering 6G. On 9th November, it will be applications, and 10th November, it will be horizontals related to security, IoT, 5G, spectrum, and interoperability and testbed issues. Next. This particular conference is open to all by prior registration. You need to do inauguration, prior registration on our website. And this inaugural session, which is happening today, is in hybrid mode, both face-to-face as well as online. And for online, we are using the tool AirMeet. And the technical sessions, which will happen on 8th and 9th and 10th, will be only online, and we will be using the same AirMeet tool. Thank you so much, and we wish wonderful sessions which will help us in our standardization activities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Upadhyay. Dr. Upadhyay has been a driving force, and we've always had his support. And from the CDOT team, thanks to him for all our conferences, especially the Tech Deep Dive. Thank you very much, sir. I now request Mr. Rajaraman to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Dr. Suresh Chituri, Dr. Upadhyay, Mr. Kishore Babu, Mrs. Pamela, Dr. Sivarajan, and many other colleagues who have joined online, the senior management of TSDSI, the representatives of industry, Department of Telecommunication, MeitY, and all the other government departments, as well as from other stakeholder groups such as startups and so on and so forth, as well as international participants. Very good afternoon and good morning to all of you. I'm extremely delighted to be part of this international event where we expect substantial discussions to happen on the subject of standards from partners and participants across the world. So this TSDSA has been a very important cornerstone of India's participation in global standards making since 2018 when they have started their journey. So it has been Department of Telecommunication has been a very important stakeholder along with the industry as well as academia in creating this great institution, which is now a very important partner in international standards making bodies, including 3GPP and other fora. So this only shows how good partnerships can lead to national development, I think, especially from an Indian perspective. So there is a role model that TSDSA has set from an international perspective, where other developed countries also can follow suit. I think there is a good amount of experience that we have generated in this regard. So I'm very happy to note that the topic chosen for today's this 3-day conference is standards for sustainable development. Obviously, standards is a very important point from several perspectives, especially from the perspective of the ultimate consumer, who is a consumer of products, services, and solutions, and so on and so forth. So standards ensure that there is that the consumer is protected from a point of view of the quality of the services that he expects to get delivered out of a particular product. And this ensures that consumer safety as well, I think, because if you look at standards, it defines a variety of things, including the quality of service, the safety of the consumer, the security of a particular product or a service, and the security and privacy of a consumer, and so on and so forth. There are several dimensions of standards. So it also helps in manufacturing, because obviously when the whole world subscribes to standards to global standards, then obviously it becomes a lot more easier to export and import products from across countries. So it enables ease of manufacturing across borders, and contribute to even subsystems, assemblies, components, etc., with great ease. So standards have a very important role to play, therefore, in this global marketplace. And the topic of today, especially on sustainable development, is very important, because essentially this is what every country stands for. I think India, I think as a developing country, places great importance in on sustainable development, especially from a point of view of public welfare. So whatever technology we develop is a tool in the hands of the marketplace to actually deliver certain improvements in welfare for the public. I think for various segments of the public. So from that perspective, standards are very important. And from sustainable development perspectives, there are 2-3 important national goals which are embedded in sustainable development, which are high in the priority order. Especially the one of digital inclusion, because that is something which the Honorable Prime Minister has been repeatedly talking in various fora, and every department of the government has been working very wholeheartedly in this process. As a result of which, there have been a lot of leaps in the state of digital inclusion in this country. So therefore, whatever products, whatever technology that we develop have to pass this test, especially from a developing country perspective. From that perspective, I would like to recall the work on the 5GI and LMLC that has been done, which is precisely with this perspective on how one would be able to actually get better coverage with a lower level of investment, because of a larger coverage that is offered through a newer encoding technique. So therefore, technologies like these, like LMLC, is something which is desirable from a country's perspective, because technology has to be appropriate from a country's context and situation. So I think that is why I think standards development, India has to cut its own path. It has to follow its own path. It is not like just to do a copy-paste model on the Western model of standardization, because India's goals and targets are differentiated. It is not different, but it's differentiated, obviously, given the circumstances. So in the quest for development of new standards, obviously this underlying point of inclusion is something which must guide people who develop technologies. I'm sure that a lot of the academia are here. The research bodies and research institutions attached to private organizations are also here. So I'm sure that the entire industry will certainly agree that unless the unreached are reached through technology, the technology and the standards that they are based on will never fulfill the purpose for which they were created. So let us hope that this very important cornerstone of standards would therefore be always kept in mind while new standards are developed. Because I say this with a full consciousness that that new technology, I think as technology becomes life cycles get shorter, what happens is that the people who are left behind are left farther behind. I think so. The gap between the reached and the unreached, the haves and the have-nots, actually widen. So I think technology must ensure that this does not happen, because the affordability of technology is something which must definitely lie at the bottom of our minds while designing products, solutions, and technologies, etc. The other very important pressing, while digital inclusion is a very important given for India and a lot of the developing world, I think there is another major pressing need for this world at large. I think this is the issue of climate change, and how we are going to keep pace with ensuring that development happens. At the same time, we don't go backwards in time in terms of the targets that we have set for ourselves in terms of cutting carbon emissions. So whatever technologies we develop need to pass this test of ensuring that they are greener than before. They emit less carbon than before. So therefore, this very important, because telecom, as it becomes more and more pervasive, the quantum of energy that is spent on telecom is going to be higher and higher. I think because the data intensity of our civilization is something which is positive, at the same time disturbing. From this point of view, because data, every unit of data carries with it a unit of energy as well. I think so. Therefore, while we may be able to shave off the energy intensity of data, but I think data itself is exploding. So therefore, from that perspective, I think the quantum of energy that is required to serve the hungry, data-hungry population is something which is always something which needs to be kept in mind. So mean, obviously, people are coming out with newer and newer forms of technologies like edge computing and so on and so forth. I mean, I think there's a lot of solutions which are appearing in the market, but still, the ultimate target of cutting carbon emissions, that is something which is very important. It is not enough that we stay where we are. We also need to ensure that we cut our carbon emissions. So I think the new new range of technologies that we develop should definitely meet this test of ensuring significant reduction in the in carbon emissions, and also the possibility of using renewable forms of energy. I mean, I think through highly distributed energy generation and so on and so forth. So even in our in the various projects that we do, I think we have seen that the options for use of solar energy and wind energy exist. But certainly, it's very important that while equipments become more energy efficient, it is also important that we source energy with the lowest possible carbon footprint. I also have, I'm very happy to see the kind of the topics that we have listed for ourselves over the next 3 days, and I'm sure that these are all some areas where the various participants from India would certainly be extremely delighted in being part of, given the fact that that our participation in standards making is just beginning, and then we have a long way to go, and therefore there are greater opportunities as well. So I'm very happy to note that the TSDS's engagement with the innovation economy within India has been very significant. I think TSDSA has been actively working with startups and the academia for the last several years. So this has enabled a lot of things to happen. Like, for instance, we are happy to note that by 5GI was integrated, NAVIC was incorporated in Release 16, and several other contributions for the Release 18 and 19 in terms of broadcast convergence, etc., are something which are heartening. So I'm also happy to note that TSDSA has a lot of participation in the governance of standards making bodies in the form of vice chairs and other roles. So while that be so, I think there is a great opportunity for all the academic institutions and the industry bodies here to work on a variety of things like pre-standardization and so on and so forth. So recently, we have launched a telecom technology development fund. So there is an opportunity to work on some of these cutting edge products and solutions that we are looking at. And as Dr. Suresh Chituri was also requesting, I think it is very important that while these projects are done, delivery, and the DG TSDSA also mentioning the same thing, the delivery of standards as also part of the research project is very important. I think it's just not a product that is important, but also delivering an important piece of the standard, which actually enables India's contribution to go forward in terms of patents and so on and so forth. So let's hope that TSDSI's Tech Deep Dive Conference will stimulate the interest from amongst the budding academicians and innovators and the technology and the techies who are working in various manufacturing companies and design and research companies to actually take the next step forward in terms of development of new intellectual property within this country. So we also understand that just as ease of doing business is very, very important, ease of developing technology is also something which we must talk about. So I would request that TSDSA also need to work on this aspect, brainstorm with all the participants in this research ecosystem, and see how the government policies may be tweaked to enable greater participation in research, greater involvement in research, greater funding of research, etc., and so on and so forth. So therefore, making the policy changes to the is very, very important in creating the right environment for greater participation in standardization and intellectual property development. So DOT has been very avidly supporting TSDSI in this exercise. We have been supporting financially also in terms of to TSDSI to enable the various members of industry, startups, etc., to participate in 3GPP, 1M, 2M, and ITU meetings at nominal costs. And we are also keen to ensure that a lot of our innovators participate at the global meetings, enabling them to understand the dynamics of standards making. I would also hope that the efforts of TSDSI and the academic community, the research community here, would enable India to contribute in terms of the higher generation of intellectual property within the country. I mean, we at this point of time are sub 1%. So we should actually aim to achieve about, at least reach about 5% over the next 3 to 5 years. And I'm sure that the activities of TSDSI, the funding that the Department of Technology, Telecom is putting forward, the R&D contributions made by the industry by itself would all help us to get there. So I also request that the industry should actively forge partnerships with academic institutions. Very important. It's we find that the kind of partnerships that one would expect between academic institutions and manufacturing companies are not to the desired extent as obtains in maybe in other geographies. So I would strongly believe that this is a time to actually look at how we can work together. The government, academia, and manufacturing companies and research institutions should work together in as one team to actually to achieve the goals of that we have set for ourselves. So with this, I would once again congratulate TSDSI for organizing this conference, and I also hope to see very active participation over the next 3 days in learning from the best of the speakers on the developments and on the various topics that have been listed before. I mean, the Department of Telecom is represented by the Telecom Engineering Center, by CDOT, and the many other divisions of the department. We will be very happy to take forward some of the issues that you might like to pitch at us after this conference. So with these few words, once again, I congratulate TSDSI and its management for this conference, and hope to look forward to actively to the results of this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of TSDSI, I would like to mention TSDSI has been running an initiative called Standards-Driven Research. So we've been conducting some workshops from where we try to get channelized research towards contributing to standards. And of course, this conference, TSDSI Tech Deep Dive, also gives an opportunity for industry and academia and startups, as well as global entities, to interact with each other. The outcomes from this conference are generally fed back into the TSDSI activities. Thank you very much, sir. I now invite Mr. Kishore Babu, DDG Standards Research and Innovation, to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Respected Secretary Telecom, Dr. Upadhyay, Mr. Suresh Chituri, and many of the distinguished members who are present here and who are also present offline, online in taking part in these deliberations for the next 3 days. As you all know, this is the 5th edition of the event, where there is going to be tech deep dive to explore what is possible for India and for the world in terms of standards. This time with a specific theme of sustainable development goals, how standards can contribute. You are all aware that the standards have been making enormous difference, especially in the telecom technologies. And for a simple example, like mobile charger or laptop charger or computer charger, how much significant difference they have made in terms of the green energy, as well as reducing the e-waste, etc. And taking this particular context of the discussion, I want to thank Secretary Telecom, as well as TSDSI and CDOT, and also all the industry members who are here, along with the associations who are significantly contributing for this India's success story in telecom technologies and as well as telecom services rollout. Thank you very much once again for all the support from you in terms of technology development, technology ownership, IPR creation, as well as disseminating new technology information among the various entities. I also want to say one thing here, that we are all going through something called golden window of opportunity. You have seen the kind of reforms under the leadership of Secretary Telecom and Honorable Minister. They have been bringing transformation the way the telecom R&D, telecom standard development, and telecom IPR development can be triggered, motivated, and proliferated in the country. It is a big golden opportunity for TSDSI, TEC, as well as CDOT to take this opportunity with both hands and take it forward. And Secretary Telecom has specifically mentioned about inclusive technologies and affordable technologies. We invite and request all the members who are here how you can promote and contribute in this particular area, considering India's huge market where price point is one of the key parameters and key recognition for a technology to proliferate. Kindly take this forward. And we have here all the experts from global companies as well Indian industry and academia, and would be more than happy to hear you, to listen to you for the next 3 days about what are your thoughts about taking forward technology engagement in the country, especially in partnership with industry and academia as well as the government agencies who could actively give inputs, especially after this conference. We are also planning to have a kind of standardization roadmap for the country where TEC and TSDSI, along with the partnership with industry, are going to give a kind of inputs. What are your thoughts and how government can facilitate? Thank you very much and for your active participation. Once again, I want to thank DOT administration, especially Secretary Telecom, for inspiring us and driving all this engagement. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I also wanted to thank Kishore Babuji. He's been a pillar of support to TSTSI, guiding us and supporting us and also helping us identify opportunities, especially for global collaboration at ITU and other APT, etc. level. Thank you very much, sir, for your support. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session of the conference. May I now request Mr. Suresh Chituri to kindly felicitate Mr. Rajaraman as a token of our appreciation for making time for us for the conference.